Okay, assuming that you're able to download everything and that you know how to open a program, you probably arrive here. And yours might look a little different because, like I said, I'm in Autodesk 3ds Max Design 2011, 64-bit. So yours might look a little bit different. It might be just 3D Studio Max, not 3D Studio Max Design. But really, the tools are going to be basically the same. Another reason mine looks different is because I've set up my own custom toolbars. And we might even go into a little bit of that. But when you open your scene, don't be overwhelmed. Yours might look like this. Let's see here. Okay, so you might have all four windows. This is a perspective window, front window, top window, left window. Okay, I like to, and this is kind of personal preference, but it's kind of proven too because I've done it for a long time and it really works quite well. I like to turn off my grid entirely. You don't necessarily have to turn it off in all those. What you do is hit W, and that takes your windows away, and it puts you whatever one you were in. It just maximizes that. So if you hit W again, I usually like to start in perspective mode. I could just turn off my grid altogether. And again, the hotkey for that is W. I usually just forget about these other windows, just work in one window and use my hotkeys to go from one view to another. So if you hit F, you'll go to front view, as you can see up here. R is right, L is left, back is K, and of course you can always customize all those things. In preferences, no, customize user interface, you go up here. And you can go to your keyboard and set whatever commands you want to whatever hotkeys you want. So front view right there is set to F. I believe that's a default though. If you're starting Max for the first time, you'll probably also see a view cube, which might be helpful to you if you're a newcomer to 3D. I can turn mine on here, and then you can use this to oh, that's kind of small. Let's configure this, make it look a little bigger. View cube space small, let's make it large. And I was just right clicking on that and hitting configure. So this will give you all your views too, right? This will give you an isometric view up here, kind of, and then top, this back. So you can kind of see how this works. That'll rotate it. Not sure why you'd want to do that exactly. But let's put an object in here so we can start seeing what we're looking at. So go to one of these perspective views. Let's put a box in. And to create a box, we go over here. This is our main panel where all our stuff is at. So this is the create panel, this first tab. And in here we can create standard primitives. And we'll get into that more later. But let me just create a box here. We pick which kind. Put a box. Okay, now we're in kind of an isometric view right now. And you can see if I hold down Alt and then hold down my middle mouse button and move my mouse around, that's called tumbling around the object. One important thing when you're tumbling is that you have it set to this guy right here. This is your orbit button down here. These are your navigation keys. This one needs to be orbit selected. With orbit selected on, that means when you select an object, hold down Alt and the middle mouse button and move around, then it will orbit around that object that you've got. That's a very important navigation principle right there, to orbit around the object. And then if I hit the hotkeys like I showed you before, F, R, L, K, T for top, and you can see the view cube is corresponding. When you get better at this, you can just turn off the view cube altogether because the hotkeys are faster. Up here you have your basic kind of file input output type stuff. Import, export, save as, save, open. I've set up a lot of hotkeys here, like for merge. The difference between merge and import is that import is importing a different type of file than 3D Studio Max. Merge is just like copy and pasting another 3D Studio Max file into this one. You have things like your move and your rotate and your scale all up here. We'll get into that more. You also have layer management, manage layers, and that might be in a different location for you, but you can see the box layer is created on, or the box object is created on layer 0. If you're in 2.15, the layer management is completely different. But that's not really important to this course. It's something that when you get into big scenes, you'll want to know how to do. For now, I'm just going to kind of leave the layers as they are. Another important point about navigating is that, like I said, if you hold down Alt and the middle mouse key, that's what navigates. Hopefully your middle mouse key is a scroll key. You can use that scroll. That's pretty standard now on most mice. So if you can use that scroll to zoom in and out. If you hold down Alt and the button, then you tumble. If you just hold down the middle mouse button and move from left to right without holding down Alt, then you're panning. So that's how you navigate in here. Those are all important points. You'll also want to make sure, if you go into preferences here, I'll show you a few things that will help you navigate a little better. These are my settings. One thing that's important to me is auto window crossing by direction. Right to left equals crossing. I'll show you what that means. So if you're selecting something, if you go right to left, you can see that that's a dotted box, and that means anything that dotted box, if any part of an object is inside that dotted box, it will get selected. If you go from left to right, you'll see it's a solid box, and that means the entire object has to be inside there for it to be selected. If you just get the corner with the solid box, it will not select. But with the dotted box, it will. So it depends on which way you're selecting. Left to right is this, right to left is that. If you've used AutoCAD or anything like that before, then you'll be used to that. Okay, so that's basic navigation. We'll look more into some of the buttons and what they all do in the next video.